Hey guys, my name is Logan or Cream Tag, and today we're going to be painting my valve cover for my Acura Integra. So last week we detailed the engine bay, and I said that the following week we are going to be painting my valve cover and making that look a lot nicer. Now I'm not actually going to pull off the valve cover that's on the car because I actually have another one that I bought so that I can still drive the car during the kind of like time that it takes for the paint to cure and all that. So in today's video, I'm basically just gonna be showing you guys how to paint your valve cover and how I'm painting mine. It's a pretty simple, straightforward process. It takes a little bit of elbow grease, but it's pretty simple, pretty easy, and you should be able to do it with no problem. So let's get straight into it. So this here is the valve cover we're gonna be using. It's super dirty because it sat in the garage while I was doing all the body work on my Integra. Time to get it painted. We're gonna sand it down, and then yeah, I'll just basically take you guys through the process. This here is the paint that we're going to be using today. It's a high temperature wrinkle red. So it's made so that once you spray it on, you apply some heat to it and it'll wrinkle. You'll see it at the end of the video. It'll look great, hopefully. But yeah, it's pretty simple, pretty cheap. It's like 30 bucks. You can buy it at most auto parts stores, and it's pretty easy to use. And this is all we had to buy in order to do this, other than any kind of like sanding materials and whatnot that we need as well. All right, so just using a palm sander, I was able to sand down the majority of the valve cover. Now, of course, it's not perfect and it's not all gone, but since this previous paint was already like just in really great shape, I just wanted to change up the color. I don't really have to worry about sanding the whole thing down. You want to rough it up, yes, but you don't have to necessarily remove all of this paint here. That is, of course, kind of specific to this one because it's in such good shape that I'm not worried about it chipping or getting wrecked. Now, what I am going to do is I'm going to use a degreaser on the whole thing, and I'm going to clean it up really, really well. That's probably the most important part about painting a valve cover, is making sure that the entire surface is super, super clean, because if it's not, then you'll get bubbling and other contaminants in the paint, and it will just look awful if you don't clean it up. So make sure that when you're painting your valve cover that you make sure it's super, super clean, and I'll show you what I'm going to use to clean this. So this is what I'm going to be using to clean it up. It's just like a typical engine degreaser. Now just make sure you spray it on good and make sure it's just nice and clean, and then also make sure that you dry it off really well afterwards. All right, so I just got it soaked on there. Really, you want to be really liberal with your application, but yeah, it's all on there. Maybe hard to see on video, but it's soaking in there. We're gonna let that soak for a little bit, and then we're gonna hose it off and wipe it down. All right, so I got this thing cleaned off. Now I can't express this enough. If you guys are doing this yourself, I'd highly recommend you get some kind of paint stripper or sand down all of the paint and take the whole thing right to bare metal. I don't need this to last me super long. I'm hoping to maybe get a year out of it roughly. I'm planning on doing a VTEC head conversion on this car, which would mean I'd have to get a whole new valve cover. So that's why I'm not super stressing about necessarily the quality of this job. It's just something that looks better than what's under the hood of that thing. And if you saw my last video, you'll know what I'm talking about. So honestly, just putting this on as it is would look better than what's on there right now. So I'm just gonna go ahead. I've used my degreaser. I took it to the backyard and I hosed it off really well. And then I used my air compressor here and a bunch of shop rags, and I got this thing super clean. Now it's totally ready for paint, and we're gonna go ahead and do that now. Now, one thing I also forgot to mention, and one thing I'm gonna do right now, is you're gonna wanna go ahead and go around and tape off everything that you don't want getting painted. So like this guy here, around all of these holes, anything that was silver that I didn't sand down, so all this kind of stuff, you're gonna wanna go ahead and mask all of that off. I recommend using like painter's tape. It'll work great, and it's super easy to work with. All right, and just like that, we got everything taped off. So now we're ready to start painting. The can, basically what it asks for is 3 coats, 3 heavy coats. All right, and then that's that's it done. So after a while, after a couple of days of like letting it sit, I'll probably go through and I'll sand down off where it says Honda Motor Co. I'll sand that down so it'll get that nice metal shine to it. But other than that, it came out pretty good. It's not perfect, of course. But for my first time using this type of paint, I feel like it came out and did a pretty good job. Definitely better than I was expecting it to for just like a quick rattle can job. It looks great, and it's not wrinkle yet, but it says to let it air dry for 2 hours. So we'll let it do that, let it air dry. And then if you do this and it's the wrinkles are uneven or whatever after 2 hours, then you just spray another coat over top of where it's not wrinkling properly. So we'll do that. It's already looking like it's starting to wrinkle in a couple of spots along the side here. So yeah, I guess we'll see how it turns out. I mean, so far it looks great. But yeah, this is how you paint your valve cover. Yeah, so that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully it kind of gave you a good idea on how to paint your valve cover properly. Remember to sand it down completely. You can use a paint stripper or thinner or something like that to get rid of it. I just needed to do a quick job and get it done and over with. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you can get notifications whenever I upload every week, every Sunday. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you next week. See ya.